Right. Hello, I'd like to welcome you all to our Tuesday 1:30 p.m. session with Legal Counsel for the Elderly. And we have Mr. Derek for the first time from Legal Counsel doing a session for us about consumer law services. And thank you so much, Derek, for hosting. The WildTech DC Senior Digital Inclusion Program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual help, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the info on any apps or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see us, hear us, see the screen, let us know in the chat. If you have any questions, please raise your hand in Zoom. You can hit reactions and then raise hand. If you're on a mobile device, you may have to hit more and then hit raise hand. But yes, this will be on YouTube, so make sure you take notes, screenshots, but you can review this video on our channel when it gets uploaded. Derek, if you could introduce yourself and your topic, that would be great. Then you could share your screen, and I'll be there to assist with the hands, questions, and make sure everyone's able to hear, okay?
Okay, thank you very much. And again, my name is Derek Dyer, and I'm a staff attorney here with Legal Counsel for the Elderly. And I think you all met with Lisa last week, so I'm pretty sure you know that we have separate departments within Legal Counsel for the Elderly. So I actually work in the consumer section. So usually if you have a consumer problem, and of course we're going to discuss this later as this comes as we go along here, but I'm with the consumer department. So today we're going to be talking about the issues that we can help you with in the consumer with LCE's consumer department. So with that, let me share my screen here.
Yeah,
anybody...
and make sure, this is recorded, so I want to let you know if you want anything specific to ask. I'm sure Mr. Derek has the hotline number that we know so well, but just keeping that in mind, but we welcome any and all questions.
And again, and back to that, any question, just feel free to ask, and I'm always here. And even after this presentation, if you have questions, just feel free to give us a call. Okay, so with that, let's get this started here. So can everyone see my screen?
Yes, consumer presentation, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know if you I would imagine the person on the front slide probably looks familiar. If Lisa provided a presentation, to give you the answer to this, all of our presentations have Tina
Yeah,
Nelson.
Tina Nelson.
She will always be on the front. So any presentation that we have, it will always be Tina. And I don't know if EHS, that's her department, if they've given a presentation yet. But if not, you also definitely talk to Tina. Her department handles wills, deeds, and things of that nature. So hopefully at some point you'll get a chance to actually see Tina. So today we're going to be talking about consumer issues. And so within the consumer unit, right now, there are, you see that there are 5 of us here. So if you pick up the phone, you'll probably be speaking to one of these 5 people. In addition, you can always reach out to our consumer section. You see there's an email down below. And you can also copy Karen. Karen is the admin that we have here. So any questions, always feel free to reach out. So what are some of the things that we do at Consumer? Obviously, we handle case handling. We also do court appearances. We work with community partners like WildTech. We also do outreaches. So some of you may have seen us at some of the senior centers in the area. So we do go out to senior centers and reach out to people. We also provide counsel testimony. So if there is an issue that's facing seniors, we will go and we will speak to the DC Council and see what we can, see what we can do and advocate for you all. We also participated in what's called the Senior Zone, which is a radio program that's in the area. We also refer matters to um, certain law firms. So if there's a matter that's probably too large for us, because there are only five of us, we also work with local law firms and also, quite frankly, national law firms to assist seniors in resolving certain issues. We also are involved with larger systemic projects, meaning projects that affect not just one individual, but an entire population. So one of the things that we know we've advocated for would be some of the property tax reform issues that come up in the area. Um, and with what we also do is we also report to DHCD. So we are funded in large part by DHCD. Um, so what type of cases do we handle here in consumer? So we handle mostly home ownership preservation cases. Um, a lot of that comes up in foreclosure defense. So, meaning if a foreclosure action has been commenced against a senior, we're typically here to provide some type of assistance. So foreclosures can involve mortgages, which we'll talk about in a little more detail um, later. But they can involve mortgages. It could also involve property taxes. So we do. I'm going to say this time of year, we are very active with assisting people in property tax issues. Um, Condo foreclosures. So if someone gets behind on their condo association dues, um, we can assist with that. Um, and one of the big things and this is what I do personally, is it's getting involved with predatory lending and servicer counterclaims, meaning that if there was an issue when a loan was first originated, maybe the lender misrepresented what the product actually was. Maybe the person who's actually collecting payments on behalf of the mortgage company has misrepresented something, or they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Um, Usually, we can help with asserting those claims on your behalf. And typically, I would be the person that you would be talking to if those issues come up. Uh, we also help with things called quiet title actions, and this comes up in various areas. But what a quiet title means is that, there's a dispute as to who owns your property. Let's say you own this, this property has been in your family forever, since you were born. You guys you've been in this property. Uh, Sometimes somebody may come up and try to say, hey, I actually own an interest in that. We can help, maintain your interest. We can help make sure that title is held in your name. So where quiet title, you see this action come up a lot in these foreclosure rescue scams, where people have, in exchange for very little money, people have given money away to other people thinking that they're saving their property. But in fact, what's happened is that they signed their property away to this third party. So we can help with with that type of action. Also, I guess that goes along with deed fraud, and predatory home purchases. So again, it's similar to what we were talking about before, where you have a situation where you fall behind on your mortgage. Somebody says, hey, I can help out with this. I'm going to come in, I can buy your property. And usually they give you like a very low number. And so basically, you lose your home for very little. You don't really get a chance to cash in on the equity in your property. We also help with what's called fraud and financial exploitation cases. So these are situations where, um, you know you 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 somehow believe you've been defrauded by a lender of some sort, um, or contractors. I think this is another big area that we see with this. But sometimes will take advantage of seniors. Um, they'll take advantage of seniors financially, and these are the kinds of cases that we tend to take. Um, so we also have, related to that are these things back to the pro bono referrals. These are cases again that we see, you all call us and we evaluate and say, hey, there's some merit to this. Let's see what we could do. What we try to do is we try to hire somebody out there to help you go after whomever defrauded you. And again, these are mostly in contractor cases. Does anybody have any questions yet? Oh, I see Miss Dennis has a question.
Thank you. And then we also have Anne as well. So
Okay.
Anne, then Yvonne.
Okay.
Derek, how can we protect ourselves against these scammers who are um, renting your property out?
So you mean let's say that you have a property and you have leased that property out to somebody else?
Well, they've got scammers that are going around.
Okay.
Um, Next door is my cousin's empty house, and some Saturday a moving truck pulled up, and they were trying to get in the house because
Oh,
they had rented it out, and that property is still in my name and my cousin's name.
so what it sounds like is that somebody basically so again, back to, we were talking about the quiet title actions.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody basically has said that they own that property, and as
Mm-hmm.
such, they're entitled to lease this property out.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is give us a call. Since you know Ira, um, give us a call.
I
That
left
is
him
the
a
first
message.
thing.
That's why I told you to tell him to call me. It was important.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? So you would probably call us, not Ira. So, what I'm gonna do is this, because that's actually a very serious thing. So, you have our hotline number, the 202-434-2120
Yeah, I have all
number.
the hot numbers.
Okay.
I got
So
Carrie's number. I got,
oh,
I got,
okay. Oh, you already
yeah,
have Carrie's? Okay. So
yeah.
what I'm gonna tell you to do is call that hotline number again and have them give us a call, because this is one of those cases that we're very interested in. So give us a
Well, it was
call.
real crusty there for a minute.
How
We,
so?
we
What?
understand, Nan. We
Yeah,
got a couple of hands, so make sure you
yeah.
Oh,
give
It
okay.
was.
her a call, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
Thank you
definitely
so
give us a
much,
call.
Anne. Yes, we have Yvonne next, and then Ms. Dolores. Any questions about these type of cases that they handle? Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. There on TV nowadays, you see in the advertisement, it's called Title Lock, and it's supposedly something you can purchase to protect your title and ownership in your property. Have you had any experiences with anyone who's benefited from one of these so-called security purchases that you have to pay? And I'm very skeptical about them. It's called title lock.
Title. And I'm and is this Miss Yvonne? Is this who this is? Uh,
Absolutely. Yes. Thank
So
you.
Miss Yvonne, I'm going to tell you, I am so glad that you are skeptical of this. I'm going to say this is like one of those things that really is not necessary. Provide, you know, these kinds of things, provided that you're actually living in the property. Um, and I think with Miss Ann, I think part of the issue is that they were not living in the property. But if you're living in the property, these are the kind of things that you really don't need to, you wouldn't need to pay somebody else to come in and to do this.
Right.
Um, it to me it is a waste of money. I would
Yes.
say, basically what you're asking is somebody's sitting there monitoring the recorder of deeds, what's happening at the recorder of deeds. So what should happen, like anytime there's a transfer or anything happens, some type of documentation would be mailed over to you at
Right.
your property. So you really
Yes.
wouldn't need that. And on top of that, these are things that if you really are concerned, you yourself can, and we can talk about this later, but one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that you can do to protect yourself is basically just go on the report of DC, and you guys thankfully you guys are tech savvy.
Yes.
Um, so you can go onto the Recorder of Deeds website and it will tell you, who owns your property and what's happening with your property. So you really don't
Uh-huh.
need a third party. I mean, to me, it's just a waste of money. I'm not going
Yeah,
to say
I
that's,
figured as much. It was
yeah.
somebody trying to make some money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's fraudulent, but I just think it's
Mm-hmm.
just, to me personally, because I'm cheap, I'll be honest with you, I'm thrifty.
Same
Um,
here. Yeah.
I think it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Derek.
oh, no
I
problem.
suspected as much because, I paid my mortgage off. I don't need that kind of protection. But my sister lives in California and she raised my concern about it. She said, they're stealing property. She's in California, so I don't know
Yeah,
what
I mean,
Well, that's why we have legal counsel on and get these questions answered.
that's
exactly.
right. Thank you so much.
Exactly. But yeah, but the short answer is here in DC, it's not that easy to steal somebody's property.
Thank
So
you.
lots of notices have to go out before that happens.
Thank you, Derek.
Okay, no problem. Is
We
Mm-hmm.
that
got
Miss
one more question.
is that Miss
Yes, we got one.
Dolores there? Okay.
Yes, and he
Yes.
just answered my question because that was my concern. It's like
Oh,
how do you protect yourself from deed fraud? And
Yeah, it really is a good question. And I want to say, um, people say a lot of things about the district, outside the district, people who don't live here. I'm going to say that the district really does a really good job. And I'm, this is me, third party here, in seeing how other states handle these types of things. But DC is actually really good about this. It really is, it's not that easy to change a deed in DC. It is not. It would take, you would definitely get some notice of something happening. Um, you have multiple ways of checking where, who owns your property. If you don't want to go to the Record of Deeds website, if you go to, if you go online to the Office of Tax and Revenue, and every year when you get your tax bill, you can check what your taxes are, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But it tells you who actually owns the property. It tells you right there on the spot who is the property owner. So you always have ways of knowing, making sure that you own the property. And I think I see two more
and
hands
how
there.
how, how often should you check to make sure that everything's the way
Well,
it should be?
I would say, because me personally, I would say at least yearly, or at least twice a year, because I would check every time you get your property tax bills.
Okay.
Because you get your property tax bills, twice a year. So in that time, I would check, hey, let me just make sure that, that the name is the way it's supposed to be. So I would check then. That's probably a good opportunity to, and it takes like it's a matter of seconds.
Hmm.
And it's probably the fastest way of doing it.
And you say you would find this on the office record of deed.
So the easiest thing is when you get your property tax bills, because you get them twice a year. Um, you can just go on the Office of Tax and Revenue
Okay, office
under
tax and rent.
the DC OTR. And all you do is you type in your ad. It's going to ask you, hey, what's the address? And you just type in the address, and your property should come up.
Okay.
And when you see it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, that's my property." And then you're able to see you'll be able to see, hey, who actually owns the property, who it's
Hmm.
listed by.
Okay. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Okay,
Because
all
that
right.
definitely was one of my questions. When like I'm like Yvonne, they be showing all that advertising on TV, and
Yeah, yeah, and again, it's not that that thing is fraudulent. It's just that you don't really need to spend that money on that. I mean, to me, that's just to me, it's just another form of exploitation, to be honest.
Okay,
Um,
thank you. I
no, no
appreciate
problem.
Thank you, Ms. Dolores. Just asking, Derek, are you going into more details of each of these in the next slides, or is it about something else?
Actually, it's about something else, but that's actually these are actually very good questions.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
no,
only thing the only thing we're going to go into later on is actually how to read your property tax bills, but that's it.
okay. I'm just
So
seeing because of the hands, and we want to make sure over here our seniors can see most of your presentation before they have to go. We got Ms. Doris, and then we'll go on to the next slide. You have
okay.
a question about the cases that we have here, Ms. Doris?
Yeah, I have a question. I had somebody call me from Chase Bank in New York, and they
Mhm.
say somebody applied for a loan for some property in my name. How do I get the information on that?
So what you need to be doing, and we will talk about later on, but since you raise it, you need to put a freeze on your credit.
I
And
already did that. I
oh,
done did
okay.
that.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, it's just all about, we learn about scam calls. So I know you'll share something about that, Mr. Derek, but most of those are just meant to scare you. And you
Mhm.
have to always do your research to see if that actually did occur. So is that right,
Right.
Mr. Derek?
Right. But I still, I think for anybody, I would still put that freeze on your credit anyway.
Yeah, they sent me stuff from the credit bureaus, let me know
That
about the
was frozen.
fraud.
Okay. Okay. But yes, but the step number two is, sometimes people do want, that they will give this information, say, hey, and we'll talk about scams here in a minute, but they will give you some bit of information, trying to get personal information from you, and you never want to give that information out over the phone.
I don't even
Uh,
answer it if they don't got no name up there. They don't get no phone call with me.
yeah, look, if you've never dealt with Chase, I wouldn't even respond to it. I would just put the freeze on your credit. But
Yeah,
so at any rate, were there any other questions on
thank
this?
you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you,
So
Ms. Doris. I did put the hotline number in the chat. So again, if you have any specifics that you may not want to share on the call, but try to keep as general as you want. This will be on YouTube. But I put again the good old hotline number
yeah,
in the chat.
and
This
we
is
and I definitely appreciate that. I do. I
yeah. There may
do.
be there's some that are on the call today that have not seen legal counsel sessions before. So again, please take advantage of legal counsel with the elderly. But thank you for answering those questions. So amazing.
Not a problem. So one of the things that we do on the mortgage foreclosure process and how we handle things, this just gives you an idea as to what we try to do. So when a foreclosure is first or contemplated, that's probably when you should reach out to us if this ever happens to you. That if you get when the moment you start getting falling behind on your mortgage, that's when preferably you should be reaching out to us. Um, but saying that always reach out to us. It doesn't matter what stage, but preferably earlier on. And just so you all know what the process is. Uh, so foreclosure in DC, when you first get this complaint, you're going to be on what's called the early mediation calendar. And what that is that what they're trying to do is see if you all can, try to find a way to work something out, which we'll talk about some of the options that you may have. And if that doesn't work, then it's placed on a judgment calendar. And that's really we'll call that the bad calendar. That's where an actual judgment's entered. And usually to get from the early mediation calendar to the judgment calendar, provided that you're actually showing up and doing things, it can take some time. The entire process from the early mediation to judgment could be, year and a half to 2 years. Um, there's also what's called a non-judicial foreclosure, which we very seldom see for reasons we're not going to get into. You will very seldom see it, but in those situations, you have to reply within. You would receive what's called a mediation notice, and you have to reply within 30 days. But that's really rare. You very seldom will see that. Um, so types of mortgages, I don't know if you all know about the different types of mortgages that we have, um, but there's a typical forward mortgage, and that's what most people will have. That when you first buy a house, it was called a forward mortgage, where you're just paying money going forward, and as you're paying the equity, your equity increases and how much you owe actually decreases. There's also something called a reverse mortgage, and this is something that really is this is a senior product. So you have to be 62 years old or older to have this. And what a reverse mortgage and this typically happens where, the property is going to have a significant amount of equity. And does everyone know when I say equity, what that means? It's basically the amount that you own in the property. It's the difference between the mortgage amount and the actual value of the property. So that's the equity in the property. So if the house is paid off in full, then you have, lots of equity. So with a reverse mortgage, what you can do is that, let's say you owe, your house is paid for, but you owe property taxes. And your property taxes are maybe, you say your house is worth 100,000, but you have maybe 20,000 in property taxes. You could take out a mortgage called a reverse mortgage, and then you could get funds from your house to pay off that property tax. Um, the benefit is that you don't make any payments up front on it. However, what's happening is those payments that you should have been making, those are all accruing. And so when it comes time for you to leave the property, either you are now deceased, or you move, or you go to a different facility, or you move out of the house in some other way, that's when it becomes due. And so the problem is that it just, the fees and the interest accrue, and it just eats up your equity. So I'm not saying don't do a reverse mortgage. I'm just saying that when you sign up for it, that's what you're signing up for. You're signing up for high interest. It's one of those things that if you plan on leaving this property to your descendants, to an heir or whomever, odds are there may not be enough equity for you to pass that on. So let's go on here. So property tax sales, I know we talked about this earlier on, but property tax sales, and that, again, this is something that we're really involved in. So that occurs typically every July. And so when DC talks about a property tax sale, what they're saying is that the district has a lien on that property, and the district has now sold the lien. So what they're selling is a lien, not the house. And so what we typically do every year is that DC publishes a list of people who are on this property tax sale list, and we go out and we try to find all the seniors that are on that list and reach out to those people and let them know that there are options. So if the house is actually sold, or the lien is sold, I'm sorry, you have basically 6 months from the sale date to redeem this property. So after the 6 months, then a foreclosure lawsuit can be initiated, and the foreclosure lawsuit is initiated not by the district, but by the entity that has purchased the tax lien. So after that, um, you know, after that, then you have you have another 12 months or so to basically redeem that property. So um, I say that to say is that if you ever have encountered this tax lien situation, it's not over. Give us a call, and you have the hotline number. Let us know so we can help you out with this. So every year, and you know that you're on you should know uh, if you're at risk for tax sale just by looking at this tax sale notice, which should be here. So every year, if you are on the tax sale list, you'll get this right here. And what it tells you is basically you have to get this property purchased, you're behind on your property, um, basically pay. Um, so this is the tax sale notice that you'll get if you are on that list. Um, and then remember how I was saying before about this is actually the OTR website, and this is how you can also tell if you are the owner of the property. So down here you'll see there's like a name. It'll tell you what the name of the property, who owns it. It'll be down there. But this will also tell you if the property is in default, because you can see over here that there's a huge balance. And DC doesn't, just so you know, DC doesn't sell everything. Usually the balance has to be in excess. I want to say $8,000. I think that's what it is. Up till then, they probably won't do anything, but once it gets to a certain point, then um, that's when they move to sell the lien. This page here just shows you if you go onto the billing history, it'll tell you, and if you click on any one of these things, this information will pop up. So you see there's a tax sale notice, and then you see the property tax bill, so you can see. So remember how I said the property tax bills come twice a year? You see 2 times a year that the property tax bill comes out.
I put the link to the OTR website, and it allows you to put like what you are, like individual taxpayer, etc., and then all the other options. And there's all these links at the top. One of them is real property, and it does say tax sale. They have a lot of assistance for individuals.
Oops, I think I just went too far. Wait,
Mhm.
hold on. Let me go back. I think I
Oh, you'll be able to hit the left arrow key on your keyboard.
yeah, I just went. There we go. Let me go back.
Yes, yeah, make sure you share your screen.
Let me go back here. Uh, oops. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that was my fault. That
It's okay, Derek. I'll be able to see when you share your screen.
okay. Okay, hold on. And then what we're gonna do here. Oops. We don't want that.
That's fine. Yeah, from current slide.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. All
Hmm.
right. So yeah, that was my mistake for trying to go backwards. So anyway, so I think you just described it. But yeah, that's the OTR website probably is the most for you all, probably the easiest thing to use because you can get the most information from this website. So you can get your tax summary, your tax history, payment history. So if you think that you paid a tax but you aren't sure, it'll show up there too. Okay. Any other questions on that or okay. So let's move on to some of the things that DC, and this is really one of the things that DC does really well, um, are some of the tax benefits. And you don't really get that anywhere. And these are things that we can also help you with. Um, Especially, I'm going to say the first four things is something that consumer can help with. One is applying for a homestead deduction. Even if you're not a senior, you can still apply for a homestead deduction. If you're a veteran, you can apply for this homestead veterans deduction. But more importantly for us, it's these next two. It's going to be the senior deduction because it is a significant deduction in your property taxes. So if you're not getting it, give us a call. Uh, and likewise, this low income property tax deferral. Let's say it's a situation where money is tight. Um, and so instead of paying your property taxes every year, once you hit the age of 65, and you meet the income threshold, you can apply to the district and get your taxes deferred. So, meaning that what you can now do is instead of paying your taxes every year, defer that tax payment until you leave the property. Whether it be, whether you pass on or you move or you're no longer in the property, that's when the property tax would become due. So it does provide it's a really good benefit there for DC. And again, it's one of those things that you don't really get everywhere. Just like the senior deduction, you don't really get in other states. There's this other thing, and I want to bring this up, and I don't know if anyone's talked to you all about Schedule H before.
But
So,
they have a very Robin has mentioned it or
oh,
someone
okay,
else. They
all
they
right.
briefly, but please enlighten us on some more.
Okay, so Schedule H it's another property tax benefit, and every DC, not just homeowner, but even if you're renting, you can qualify for for the Schedule H tax credit. It's really this credit is really key to the property itself. So if you rent if you rent property in DC, you are eligible for this. If you own property, you can do this. If you live in a co-op, you're eligible for Schedule H. So long as it is basically a DC owned property, that's not owned by not owned by the government, basically, you can qualify for Schedule H. And what it is, it's a credit that you can get. And right now, I want to say for this year, it's $1,400. And if you haven't received it in the past, you can go back not just for this year, but for the prior 3 years to pick up what you're owed. So we've had people pick up a good $5,000 from the district because they just haven't paid for it. They've never applied for Schedule H.
Hey, 5 grand.
So yeah, when you add up all the credits, the 1425, and I think last year I think it was 1375, and so you add up all those years, it can be close to about $5,000. So
Yeah, anyone's
if you,
heard of Schedule H? You can raise your hand in Zoom, hit reactions, raise hand, or you can hit more and then raise hand if you're on the device. Anyone's heard of Schedule H? Just so we could see while Derek is sharing more. Yeah,
okay,
we have a couple of
we
hands.
have a couple, but see, not enough
Yeah, I
because
know.
we want to make sure everybody gets paid. And again, I'm going to give you that number, that hotline number. Give us a call. And if you've never applied for it, give us a call, and somebody in our offices can help you apply for Schedule H.
Mhm.
So just make sure that we're doing that.
Yeah, that's thank you
Okay.
so much for sharing that. It's the perfect time because it's
Well, yeah,
tax
because
time.
the tax time that's when you can get the most money. Like now, between now and April is when you can get the most money out of this. Um,
Is there any questions so far about what we just learned or the previous slide? Please
oh,
raise
and
your hand. If you
I see Miss
at any
Doris.
time if you have a question, please raise your hand. I'm taking a look at the participants. Ms. Doris, you have a question about
Yeah,
what we just talked
I
about?
have a question.
Sure.
Suppose you just found out about the Schedule H,
Mm-hmm.
say like last year, and you've
Okay.
been living on that property before that time.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be able to go back and apply
Yep.
for the
You
years that you
most
missed?
certainly and that's exactly what it's made for. If you just found out about it, you sure can. So long as you've been living in that property, you can apply for it.
Okay.
And so make sure if you haven't done it, give us a call. That's something, even though consumer doesn't handle it, but I want to make sure that you all, because I think you would be speaking with Willow. I think that's who handles it, Willow Hanson. But she
No,
will
I
make sure
claim
that you,
mine. I'm just checking for my sister-in-law
okay, all right,
because
yeah, make
she
sure.
just found out last year if
Oh,
she
yeah,
could do
yeah.
it.
Yeah, she can get it. She can get it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Ms. Doris. Yeah, can you go back to the previous slide,
Yep,
Mr. Derek?
yep, sure.
Yeah, any of those. I didn't realize there was a senior deduction for property taxes.
Yes.
So
Yeah, there's a senior homestead and then there's a regular homestead. The senior homestead is a little heftier than the regular homestead. So once you hit that magic age, make sure you're getting that senior deduction.
yeah, you said 65, right? Or 62.
Yes. Yeah.
O- Okay, so we have a couple more. I see the hands. Any questions for this slide? And then what was the slide before this?
Uh, oh yeah,
Oh,
that's this.
the
Yeah.
OTR website. Again, that's in the
Yeah.
chat too. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we have Miss and Miss Dennis, then Miss Chuckwu, then Miss Dolores Greer. Just keeping time in mind, but I
Okay.
love all the
I'm here.
questions.
I'm here.
Yes.
So
Miss Ann, let's go.
Derek,
uh-huh.
uh, uh, did you, I'm sorry, my mind went to another place.
Oh, that's
Uh,
okay.
the senior disabled deduction, I got that once I was when I had the accident,
Hmm.
and Carrie is the one that helped me get that. So
Yep.
now I get all three.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and again, once you have it, you don't have to reapply. So you're
Mm-mm.
good. Um, the only time, well, let me go back. The only time that you would have to reapply would be if something really bad happened, and this has happened before, where somehow the district has said that your property was vacant, and once that happens, then you have to go back and we have to get all those deductions back in place. But once you have it, you're good to go.
Okay. Thank you, dear.
Okay.
Thank you. And real quick in the chat, because I think it's helpful. How do you apply for the senior disabled deduction?
So again, if you come, give us a call. You could do it online if you want to do it yourself, but there's on the OTR website, you can do it that way. But we can definitely help. And well, all you're going to need to apply for the senior tax deduction, um, you're going to obviously you need to input your basically it's proof of income. It is an income issue, and it's also you need to provide an ID. That's all. That's all you have to do. But again, give us a call. And so, as Miss Ann pointed out, that's something that we definitely help with.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are the best to call because even per se looking up the senior deduction, I see like information from different years. So make sure you go to this source and give legal counsel a call for your specific
Exactly. Just
case.
give us a call.
Yes, I see all the hands. I love it. So again, any other questions about this slide here? Okay, first Miss Ann, then Miss Dolores.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
How do you apply for Schedule H?
So again, definitely call us.
One number to
It's in
call.
the
So
chat, Miss Ann. Okay, it's in the
yeah,
chat. 202-434-2120. It's
that's
in the
it.
chat, okay?
Yep.
Thank
And
you.
just said you want to apply for Schedule H.
Okay.
You see that number in the chat, Miss Ann?
202. I thought 202 disappeared again.
Oh,
202
202-434-2120.
2120. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you
2120.
check out the link in the chat as well. So
Okay.
you got
Okay.
you got it, Miss Ann, okay?
Thank you.
All right. We got Miss Dolores, another question. Thank you.
Yeah,
Y'all are doing
thank
great.
you. This is my very first time really hearing or paying attention to this Schedule 8. And I like to know, how long has this Schedule 8 been in process?
Oh,
And number two,
wow.
and my second question is there a downside in receiving the Schedule 8 program as far as paying back any money going down the road since you're receiving probably a lump sum?
So the question, let's go to the last part. The question is it taxable? This,
Exactly.
it is not. So it's not going to be taxable. Again, it's just your property, that it's not going to be taxable there. So,
Mm-hmm. And how long has
uh,
the program been going on?
so that's a good question. So it's been, I've been here a couple of years and it's been going on for a few years before that. So I don't know, at least I'm going to say the last 5 or 6 years it's been happening. But
Wow.
again, it's like one of those things that DC does really well. And I'm going to say this is also a DC specific thing because this is coming from the DC government, not coming from the federal government, but the DC government.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, um, yeah, I can't tell you how long it's been going on.
Okay, and the
It's
reason why I
it's
asked that, the
not it's
reason why,
95. There's a Schedule H household, 1040 dating back to 95. There's a Schedule H for hospitals that was
Oh,
introduced in 2008.
no,
oh, okay.
So
yeah, the reason why I asked
so it's
that
been a
question.
long time, apparently.
Okay,
I'm just learning that today too. Yeah. And so over 15. Yeah. So it's been about
It's been
31.
around.
I,
And it's unfortunate because now, I know many of you probably use tax preparers, but not everyone knows about this deduction. And so that's why we make a point of coming out and letting people know that this thing exists.
okay, the reason why I asked that question because I like to know how far back with that. Like I say, this is my first time really paying attention
I
to it.
think Mr.
Um,
Derrick said 3 years. Is that right for
Yeah,
Schedule H?
so right now you have, we have until April to apply for this year.
mm-hmm.
So you can go back the prior 3 years. So
Okay.
this year and then so this will be for, yeah, then the 3 more years after this, before this one.
Okay. Thank you. That's very. If you
So
all shared that before, I sure didn't catch on to it. But thanks today.
no, no,
No,
no,
no, we
no.
haven't talked about it too much, so I'm glad Miss Derrick is on today. And again, you got to call the hotline so you can get your specific case and make sure all of your ducks are in a row. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. If there's money on the table, make sure you all make that call.
Yeah,
You
you
know
got to
what
get that
I'm
money.
Yeah.
saying?
Before it run out. Before it run out. You're right.
Exactly, exactly. And
Yes.
again, since this isn't federal money, but district money, it's
Oh,
still there. So make sure you get that money.
okay. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for asking, Miss Dolores. We got one
Miss
more
Yvonne.
hand. We got Miss Yvonne. You have a
Okay.
question about anything here, Miss Yvonne?
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Derek.
Mhm.
Um, I find that my tax preparer, who's an AARP tax preparer, seems to be quite familiar with all of these tax benefits.
That's
Now,
because you come to ARP,
Yeah,
so that's
because
great.
legal counsel's with AARP. So
That's right.
exactly. So, but I've never mentioned the disabled deduction. And to what extent must one be disabled? Are there any, do you need proof of some disability or something like that?
No, no, no. So usually I think they lump it's like a senior or disabled deduction. So if you're getting the senior deduction, then it's not an addition. It's not in addition to. It's senior or disabled.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh. Okay. And my husband was a veteran. Does it apply to veteran survivors as well? Do you
E-
know?
well, again, it's veterans. The best way to look at it is more of a conjunction. It's the or. It's veterans or senior or disabled. But I will say that the senior deduction is so you can get the homestead veterans deduction when you're younger, but the senior one is the one that gets you the most deduction.
Yes. Okay, I did a screenshot. So when I get my taxes done, I'm going to be sure to mention all of these things we
Okay,
I
talked
love
about
that you took a
today.
screenshot. That's what we're
there
here
you
for.
go.
And that way you can remind yourself and again watch the
Mhm.
video and share with others and help your friends and community get the money they deserve.
And I think, and Alice, I think that's really what the key is. And one of the things that we do here is, even if it doesn't apply to you, we do want you to share with other people that other
Yes.
people need to know about Schedule H. Other people need to know about the tax deferral. They need to know about these things. And so, even if it doesn't apply to you, we want you to be the source of information.
Yeah, because you mentioned a co-op. Now my daughter lives in a co-op. I'm going to tell her to be sure to see if she's getting Schedule 8,
Yeah,
Yeah, or the
H,
homestead too.
yeah, exactly.
and Homestead. Yes, I'm going to remind her. Uh-huh. Thank you.
That's
Okay,
what Mr. Derrick is here for. I'm
that's
learning a
exactly
lot
why we're here.
myself.
Okay,
Thank you, Derek.
no
Oh,
problem.
thank you, Yvonne. I appreciate it. Um,
Any other questions on that, or is that
no,
everybody?
I think at the end, like if anyone has I realize, I hope everyone on here knows how to raise their hand, but at the end, if there's any questions, like we'll be definitely taking those questions.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so let's move on to the next. So again, this is some of the things that we do. We do this property tax outreach. So you may be, if you're on this list, you all may be hearing from us. So so yeah, we do get a copy of the tax of this of the OTR tax sale list, and we try to get in touch with many seniors as humanly possible. And we try to reach out. We try to reach out at least twice. We can't get everybody, but we definitely want to hear from you if there's a problem. So in addition to mortgage foreclosures and property tax foreclosures, we do assist with condo cases. And condo cases are difficult, especially if you're behind on if you're behind on the HOA fees. Because what ends up happening with those foreclosure actions is that, first of all, they move a lot faster. And secondly, if you have a first mortgage on a condo, um, but DC, and this is probably my DC law criticism, they allow the HOA to basically prime or step in front of your first mortgage. So even if you have a first mortgage, they can still go ahead and they can foreclose on that property. Um, so I will say with those condo association, if it involves condo association dues, get in touch with us as quickly as humanly possible, to see what we can work out. Um, Unfortunately, with mortgages, there are things that you could do, like repayment plans and what have you, that associations, even though they do allow for repayment plans, they're typically not as good as, say, if you had a mortgage. So um, get in touch with us as quickly as possible with those condo cases. Um, So options for delinquent homeowners, if you do become delinquent, we just talked about repayment plans, and typically that comes in the form of a loan modification. Typically, that's what most lenders will want you to do. And notwithstanding what people believe that the bank actually wants your home, they don't want the home. What they really want is their money. They want the money, and so right now what we're seeing are more banks doing these loan modifications. We're seeing a lot of those. And if that doesn't work, what you can do is then try to sell the house. And if you're in a situation where the house is worth less than what's actually owed, then that's what's called a short sale. And so lenders will also work with you on short sales. Um, you can also do what's called, and let's say you tried everything you can, and what you don't want to do, you just don't want to fight any longer. You can also do what's called a deed in lieu of foreclosure, where you can just basically give the property back to the lender and say, hey, I'm done with it. You deal with it. I'm done. I'm walking away. And that does believe it or not, that does happen a lot, because we have a lot of people who already have other places to stay, and they just want to be gone and not deal with it. Uh, so we talked a little bit about Schedule H earlier, and sometimes those Schedule H funds can be used to fund, to fund a payment plan, or fund what's called a reinstatement. And what a reinstatement is, let's say you're behind a certain number of payments, and the bank says, hey, if you want to get back to where you were before, it's going to cost you need to pay all those other payments in bulk. You need to pay them all, and then we'll bring you back. And sometimes there's enough money um, in Schedule H, because remember, it's about $5,000 to help fund a reinstatement. So that's why Schedule H also was important. So if you do fall behind, don't forget, hey, maybe I can use Schedule H to help me get myself current. And sometimes you can also use property tax credits. Um, Sometimes let's say you overpay, you may have some money there. You just never know. But the big thing here really is Schedule H is you can help you get to help you get reinstated, and also there are also loan modification is always a possibility. Any questions on delinquencies?
Again, hit reactions at the bottom, raise hand, reactions, raise hand, more, raise hand. Any questions?
Okay, we're good. And again, we can always answer questions at the very end. So back to fraud, I think that's where we started. So, and as you all have noticed, and you guys brought this up about the number of fraud schemes, and there are tons of schemes directed at older Americans. Um, you can see the slide there, um, but right now you see elder fraud. That's about what $3.4 billion. Um, that's that's what's happening right now, and I think you guys are feeling the brunt of this, and I think you guys raised questions early on about this. Um, that's what we're talking about. Um, so some of the things that people are doing, um, obviously there's Medicare fraud. That's and I'll say now this is a situation that my mother-in-law can tell you. My mother-in-law down in Miami going to some clinic where she was supposed to be getting, treating her for whatever. My mother-in-law has severe dementia that was left untreated for years because they were just taking, the doctor's office was basically just taking the money. Uh, the do me a favor scams, these are things that come like with the, you know, we'll say I'm going to say it's the Nigerian. Remember what was it? Nothing. What was that
I mean,
scam?
for those is like romance scams.
Yes.
We've
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
Office of Attorney
Exactly.
General on. We just talked about a lot of scams, things of that nature. So
Yeah.
these are looking very familiar. I hope everyone also sees,
Yeah. The identity
especially the
theft attacks.
phishing, the smishing, the vishing. We talked about that quite a
Right.
bit.
So the phishing, because the one that we were talking about earlier, the one involving Chase, I guess that's one that could potentially be a phishing scam where somebody was looking for
Mhm.
personal information. And so those are the ones that I think those are probably the most prominent ones right now. Um, I've also seen recently, and we can talk about this one. There is a scam going out right now where people are behind on their property taxes here in DC, and some entity out there is saying, "Hey, there's this program out there that's going to help you get back on track with your property taxes," and they make it seem as if it's coming from DC government, and it is not DC government because unfortunately there's no pool of money any longer. Years ago we had half the home I forget what's called. It was the HAF. It was the I forget what the A stands for, but at any rate, there was a fund of money that was available. That's gone. DC government used to have a program for reverse mortgages called Remit, whereas the program still exists, but right now there's no money there. So right now there is nothing there. So if anyone's getting anything in the mail saying that, hey, we can help you with property taxes, that's just wrong. Cryptocurrency, that's another big scam that's going on right now. Uh, so just be aware of all these different types of scams out there. So here are the four signs that what you're dealing with is a scam. So oftentimes you have people that are pretending to be from an organization that you know. So let's say they call you, say, "Hey, I'm from a government. I'm from Social Security, IRS, Medicare," and they make it seem official. So that's the tax scam that I was just referring to. They make it seem as if they are with DC government. Uh, Keep in mind that government entities don't call and they don't text. What they do is they send letters. Uh, Sometimes these things are coming from, they say they're from a utility company or it's a tech company or whatever, and they say they're asking for donations. Uh, Keep in mind that they also use technology. I know we were talking earlier about the phone calls, and so Sometimes they use these numbers, they change your numbers and it appears differently on your caller ID. What I would say with that, if there people are calling you, and this is something that I still do, I still like to look up phone numbers. So again, you guys are a bit more tech savvy, but I like to look up. So if someone calls you before I call them back, I'll probably look them up I'll look their phone numbers up on Google just to check to make sure that that really is who it is. Um,
Right, right. They like banks shouldn't call you for any accounting routing numbers
oh yeah.
or things of that nature. So it's a lot of discernment with the calls, but technology is good where a lot of it will say like scam likely,
Oh yeah.
etc. So I
Yep.
mean it's the combination of both using your discernment, but also just taking a second to think for yourself and
Hmm.
you learn not to be, pressured into doing anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and there's a tremendous amount of pressure from some of these people, but yeah, just make sure, you do your own due diligence check. Like I'm just gonna, someone's calling from 202-789-1234. I'm gonna look that phone number up on Google and say, hey, that comes up as scam. Even if it gets past your scam alert, it may come up, you just wanna, you wanna check. Um,
I
all right,
see
so
the
that's
hands. Let's make sure we go through some of these signs first, and then if you have any questions, please share because man, time flies when you're having fun. But I see who did raise their hand. So just
Yep. So we just have four signs here.
Mhm.
So sometimes what scammers will say that there's a problem or there's a prize at the end. So somebody may say, "Hey, we're with the IRS. You owe your whatever. You owe such and such." Again, the IRS is never going to call you. They're never going to call you to say that you owe money. Some scammers will call you and tell you there's a problem with one of your accounts. Again, the banks were very seldom going to call you and say there's a problem with one of your accounts. Sometimes and actually, I just had this one a few weeks ago, or I'm going to say within the last year, where someone thought they won Publishers Clearinghouse, and they ended up
Mm.
giving them thousands of dollars because they thought that they told this individual that in order to do the background check, we need a certain amount of money, and he lost his money, unfortunately. So again, back to what we were saying, that sometimes they will press you to act immediately, and that's no bank is going to make you act immediately. So if you're feeling pressured to act, odds are it's a scam. Uh, right down to I think right here you see that sometimes they even threaten to arrest you, sue you, take away your driver's or business license, or deport you. You get all of this. Um, just be wary of the pressure. And then this is also a really important thing to remember that they want you to pay in a specific way, either it's through MoneyGram, Western Union, putting money on a gift card, and that's like the biggest thing, because once they do that, it makes it very difficult to trace. So that's why they want you to do this. Um, So, and actually this happened to me. Some people have asked you to, will ask to, or they'll send you a check, and the check usually turns out to be fake, and tell you to deposit it, then send them just a small portion of the money. Yeah, I almost fell for that one. So, so, all right. So what to do? Place a fraud alert immediately um, your credit report. File a police report, contact your financial institution, and then make sure you get help. So you call us, you can call the DC Office of Attorney Generals. Um,
So this is like something that like let's say you accidentally gave them some information. Is that when you would do this?
yes, yes,
But
I
also
would.
just maybe log the call anyway, per se?
Hmm. Yep.
It's good. These are some of the exact same things that, again, we've had the Office of Attorney General on before. It's good that, we talk about these scams because they can be, criminals can be so, well, they can be so smart or they try to
Oh
be.
yeah, they really are. They really
Yeah.
are.
So it's all
Um,
about just, using what we learn and checking those emails and making sure those email addresses are correct. If you get a email that you weren't expecting, same thing with the number, you do Googling the number. If you get a call, And these, I'm so happy we're talking about these things.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean the these scammers are just they've become ruthless now, and you just have to be very, very careful. So we talked about the fraud alert. So if you suspect that there's fraud, that's who can do it. So what it does is just makes it harder for people to open up credit in your name, because basically, if someone tries to, even you, if you try to open up a credit, a new account in your name, they're going to have to call you and get you verified, and it makes it very difficult. So a fraud alert only lasts a year, just to keep that in mind. And after a year, you can renew it. And it's free, so you don't have to worry about paying a cost going forward. And in order to do it, you just have to you don't. So remember, if you place a fraud alert with one bureau, you don't have to place it with the other three. Once you do it with one, you're good enough. Um, but keep in mind, we're talking about fraud. See at the very bottom that the credit bureaus are going to ask you for some personal information, just so you know that they're going to ask you for this. So it's that. So don't be concerned if they ask you, but they have to ask you. So this was your credit freeze. So anyone can freeze their credit report, even if your identity has been stolen. And what the credit freeze does is that it restricts access to your credit report. Um, so, it means not only will you, I mean, you won't be able to access it, but nobody else will be able to access it too. And so the credit freeze is going to last until you remove it, basically. Um, does that make any sense? So there is a difference between, let me go back one more. There's a fraud alert, and then there's a credit freeze. So remember that the fraud alert just makes it so that people have to verify your identity before they can open up a new account. A credit freeze, what that does is nobody can open up anything, if that makes any sense. Uh, and for the credit freeze, you do have, unlike a fraud alert, you have to notify each credit bureau. And then I think I have I mean, would it be helpful to send this PowerPoint over to you if anybody has any other questions?
Well, again, this is recorded, so it'll be
Oh,
on
okay.
YouTube. Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is very convenient here, though. I personally utilize Experian myself. They're
Yeah,
they're
so
they're
do
a pretty
I.
good website that can help you with this. But yes, make sure you take your screenshots of this page in case you need it.
Okay, so we'll pause here for a second, and
Mhm.
then we'll
I
move
just took it
on.
myself. I'm about to
You
put it
did?
in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. And then also, filing a police report. So DC does have a financial and cyber crimes unit for identity theft. So they do have that here in DC. Um, so again, so long as you live in DC, you can call this call I guess would be really 311.
311,
Um,
we've heard of the Adult Protective Services. They, from the
yeah.
Department of Aging, they that's where I'm assuming you could do it or report
Yeah,
it.
you could do it through them. I mean, I know this thing here says call 911. I personally would not call 911 for this after it's been, you know, the way I see 911 as an emergency thing, and it's not really an
Yeah, for
emergency like that,
dire
but
things. But yeah, 311, if you call them about anything,
yeah,
they'll be able to guide you
yeah.
to the correct
Or
person.
just you can just walk into to an MPD station and they'll do it for you there. So these are some resources that we have, scam resources, and AARP does do a really good job with a fraud alert. So if you're not used to using the AARP website, I would encourage you to, stay involved with the AARP website just to make sure that you're getting, up-to-date information about scams. Um, One thing about I know this, I'm looking at these links here. The consumerfinance.gov, I don't know how good that information is anymore because the CFPB is sadly is may not be with us much longer. Um, I think they're trying to do away with that government agency. So take a look at these resources here. Um, then let's move
Yeah, I
on.
mean, there's a ton of Disby,
I like the Disby. I actually really do like Disby. And I'm glad that you mentioned Disby because Disby really deals with, especially on the mortgage fraud issue. There are a number of, and I'm glad you brought this up. Um, Mortgage lenders, when you're dealing with mortgage lenders, I know we're not talking about this per se, but I'm going to say this is another type of fraud where you have people who are taking loans against people's homes, and unfortunately, they're not licensed. And what Disby really does, and what they're supposed to be doing, is looking after people who are going after entities who are lending money in DC and taking security interests or mortgages against DC homes without having a license. Because you're supposed to have a license, and the licensing required is pretty severe. You know, you have to give up a lot of personal information. Not everybody can give up. Can loan money in DC. You know, you have to pass a background check and everything else, and um, but that's one thing that Disby is really, really good for. And I'm going to say that if you suspect that the person that you borrowed money from is not properly licensed, get in touch with Disby. Um, oh, and here's also the OAG, the Attorney General's office, who I know you guys have spoken to. Um, Definitely give OAG a call. Uh,
I mean,
and then there's also
there's so many resources in DC. Yeah, NVR DC is amazing.
Yes, I think NVR is not called Volar. I think they may have just changed their name. I think that's what I do need to update this. Um,
It's called Volair now.
Volair, yeah. So definitely, well, I guess let me stop my share there. And then I don't know if it's does anyone have any other questions
Oh,
while we're here?
well, in case I would love if you could go back just in case someone has a question, so you could like
Sure.
showcase that slide and maybe try to just go through some of the slides that you did, which were amazing. I'm really appreciative of you talking about the taxes, the property taxes, and that's very helpful. Along everything. Legal counsel
Uh,
does an amazing job. So, are
yeah.
there
So,
any?
any other questions there?
Yeah, I'm seeing the hand. So while you pull that
Okay.
up, any questions for Mr. Derek before we say goodbye for today? Any other questions? But yes, please look through these slides um, as we
So
if you
here,
have
let's
any
go.
questions.
We'll go back.
Yes.
Oh, we have two raised
Yeah. So
hands.
yeah,
Okay.
just about like every 30 seconds, just keep going through the slides in
Okay.
case anyone has any questions. Any other hands? Hit reactions at the bottom and then raise hand, or more at the bottom and then raise hand. Okay. I have two hands so far.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, again, credit for lots of great things. Again, please review this video on our channel and make sure you give them a call if you have
Yes.
any, especially about, again, those, eh, I say this during every legal counsel session, but Robin did a session of just being able to check on your public benefits and making sure that
And
you,
that's hugely important. And I can't tell you how many people have issues with that. So yeah, that the public benefits thing is really big.
Mhm. I mean, ask them any question, LCE. The worst that anyone can say when you call is no.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
LCE, if you cannot assist with something specifically, you usually have a re list of resources for other orgs that can help.
Most definitely.
Same with DACL, call them. If you need any help, they can guide you to the right people. Same thing with legal counsel for the elderly, same with 311. use the resources here in DC to make your life easier.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that, the DACL, they do a really good job of directing people to where they need to go.
Mhm.
And we do get referrals from DACL.
Yeah,
So
I mean, yeah, we work with DACL, you guys work with DACL, and again, I was telling someone here that you all have been in existence for 50 years. That's amazing of
yeah,
working with
yeah,
seniors. So
we are still here, and thankfully, because we are affiliated with ARP, we're not going anywhere. So, that's the beauty. We're not going anywhere because ARP has been here forever. So,
yes,
so yeah,
yes,
bro.
yeah. I was just looking through again. It reminded me of the session today. So please go the other way in the slides in case
Okay,
anyone has any questions. We have three hands, and
okay,
then we're open to anyone else. But we have Gracie first,
okay.
then Ms. Doris. Any questions, comments for today?
Thank you. Mr. Dyer,
Yep.
two questions.
Okay.
On the Schedule 8, if the
Yes.
property owner is tax exempt, do you still qualify for that?
What do you mean by tax exempt?
Well, it's owned by the church.
Oh, yeah, you can still qualify.
Now,
I mean,
okay.
well, wait a minute. Let me go back. That's a good question. So, because really what is key to is anybody who pays any property that property tax is being paid for. I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm going to say since I don't really do Schedule H, that I've never really done it. I
Mhm.
want you to call us anyway.
I will
I
because
want you to I want you to
18.
call Willow,
Okay.
and because the way that it works is that the property is eligible to pay property tax.
Mhm.
um, then you are able to pay. I'm sorry, so you are able to use Schedule H. What I
Okay.
don't know is if a church owns a property, even though they're exempt. I mean, they would. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. See, you
Okay.
stumped me.
No, because I was stumped myself because the same agency files my taxes every year. I've been here like 13 years.
Yeah,
For 12 years, they said no. Then last year, the lady did it. And she said, well, why don't we just check anyways? She checked
yeah.
and it went through. So I've been denied for 12 years, but I got it for 1 year.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Hmm.
So you were able to get it last year.
Hmm.
What I would say is you probably need to go back and apply for those other. So make sure you apply for this year.
Hmm.
And then remember, you can go back 3 years, but you got it last year, but you can get the other 2 years you can still get.
Okay.
So I would say go back and try to get that. So I would still say call us. They may tell you to, use the tax preparer. You know what I'm going to say is uh, use a, and I know I would say try to look for the ARP tax preparers
So it
because
is.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sure
yeah, I
I
was
didn't
about to
want
say,
to
I know
expose them.
Gracie
I
is
didn't want to expose them, but I'll follow through like you said. And the
yes.
other question is, I have you all heard this? I have gotten two scam calls within the last month stating that my house has been listed for sale and they are interested in buying it. And could I answer some questions? Of course, I hang up because I
Yes.
it
sold my
sounds
house
like a
in New
scam.
York 18 years ago. So I
That
know
is
I don't own a
that's a
home here.
scam.
So,
It's a
but have you?
They're targeting everyone, Gracie. You did what
No, I
we've
was just
learned, and you
alerting
just
him to that in case, they hadn't heard that that's a new one that's out.
So I'm also going to say this is that, to the extent you hear about a new scam, and I'm glad that you told me about this one.
Mhm.
Again, use that number and that 202-434-2120 number.
Okay.
Let somebody know if they get the actual details on
Mhm.
that. I think that would
Mhm.
be really helpful.
Okay. I will. That's it. Thank you so much.
Okay. All
thank you,
right.
Gracie. Make sure you call. Make sure you call just to get a check-in on your benefits, but also to get help with that challenge, okay?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, most definitely. I'll do that. Thank you again, Mr. Dyer.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, thank
Okay.
you for your question, Miss Gracie.
Mhm.
We got three more hands. Thank you.
Okay, I'm here.
You guys are asking great questions. We have Ms. Doris and then Miss Ann. You have a question or comment for Derek today?
Yeah, Dirk.
Mhm.
To ask you, okay, when these people go out and apply for loans for your house, is there any place where you can go online and find out when people are doing this?
So you're saying that you own the house, but they're trying to get a mortgage on your house?
Uh-huh.
So you probably wouldn't know up front. I mean, this is really something that the title company would have to be aware of because um, especially if this is a loan. And I'll tell you, anytime that there's a mortgage, the mortgage company is going to want to have to do a title search. And
Mm-hmm.
so the title company is going to have to will be the person to find out that said, hey, wait a minute, you don't own this. Such and such owns this property. So you probably would not know when someone's applying, but the title company will know. So sadly, there's like no way to, that you would know upfront that someone's doing this. The safest bet is to make sure that the title is properly registered. So every year you're checking your title to make sure that, nothing's changed.
I've been here 24 years. This is the first time I heard of it was last year.
That sounds crazy. But again, if you suspect that there's a problem, make sure you call make sure you call us. And by the way, Miss Doris, I love that little avatar that you have there that you have.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All
Ms.
right.
Doris. Make sure you give him a call if you need any help, okay?
Okay, thank you, Dirk.
Yes. Two more hands. Great questions. We have Ann, then Ms. Dina. Any questions or comments for today? Thank you so much.
Derek, I just wanted to tell you thank you for explaining that people can get all three of those
Oh, the
tax.
deductions.
Mhm.
And make sure, yeah,
Because
again,
I'm
make sure.
telling people and they look at me like I'm crazy. And I said, I know what I'm talking about because I said I'm I I go to legal aid and I've been getting it. So
Well, if you can't convince them, just give them the number, and if they
well, that's what we
call,
do. That's what we do.
Yep,
That's
yeah.
what they tell us to do. I'm
yep.
the advisory council person for Ward 7. But
Oh, okay.
uh-huh.
Okay. No,
So
you are definitely appreciated, and just getting the word out just definitely helps.
well, we're trying to get more people involved in Ward 7 to know the help that they can get from, especially people who are renting, did not know that they are qualified for that H tax.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
that was one of the things that we were trying to do with the apartments in River Terrace. And
yeah.
in fact, all the apartments in Ward 7. But I just wanted to thank you. It was an excellent presentation, and you did a great job.
Oh, why, thank you, Miss Ann.
Oh, thank you, Ann. I agree with everything you said, and please continue to share the info. You're doing a great thing.
Really,
We got Ms. Is that Ms. Dina? Is that you, Ms. Dina, for a
I
Yeah,
question?
see Miss White.
yes,
Okay, yes. You have a
All right,
question
I'm
or
here.
comment for Derek today?
yes. I have a question.
Okay.
I like to know why is it allowed for these mailing catalogs to have your information, like you can receive a catalog and say like yesterday I received a catalog
Hmm.
and it had my name on it, but someone else's address. And then it'll have the little inner part saying that I had 4,000 so many dollars that I could buy from this catalog. So I called the company to find out why was my address changed. Now I live in a house and this person lived in an apartment I live on B Street. This person had C Street, apartment number something further away from me. So why are catalogs allowed to put credit information like, oh, you're approved for $1,000 worth of furniture or whatever? Why is that allowed? Is what
Well,
I like to know.
the short answer is so those offers aren't real offers. We'll put it that way. The offers that they have typically are not real offers. Um, I've had people like I have a client now that, notwithstanding the fact that she's in foreclosure, she says that she gets these credit offers, and I'm like, well, it's not a real offer. What it is if you look at the very bottom, typically it says, subject to credit approval and everything else. They put all the disclaimers on there. So the first part of your question is it's not a real offer. The second part to the question is that unfortunately, uh, you know, all of our public information, like our names and address, um, all that information is subject to sale. And even if you go online, and this is the problem when you go online, you start registering for whatever, that all that information gets collected and sold. Um, Sadly, you know, they let people do that, and I hate to say that, but for you, the most important part of the question is to remember this: those offers are not real offers. Um, so yeah, you start there. It's not a real offer. So even though they say that you pre-qualify, if you go to the very bottom, I bet you it says subject to credit approval and this and that and the other. So there's usually one more step that has to happen. They're just trying to they're trying to put something out there to get people to call in or ring in or write in, and they're just trying to get more information from you. So I wouldn't put much stock in it.
But these are people that I really deal with.
So yeah, and so my guess is it was probably a mistake. Again, it's not a real credit offer. What it is it's a speculative offer that probably the most that that you could probably get is that, but it's not something that it's not real. It's not a real offer. We'll put it that way.
Oh, okay, because this person that's using my address with apartment number, they could have ordered anything and had the merchandise going to their home. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean, so long as you're not ordering in your name, um, that's different. If they're ordering something in your name and getting something in your name, that's different.
They had my
Uh,
name on it.
but yeah,
The
the
catalog
person,
had my name, and I called yesterday, asked them why did they change my address like that, because it was in my name but wasn't my address.
So, well,
And they
sometimes
checked in
they make
everything.
mistakes. Yeah,
yeah,
sometimes
and
they make mistakes though.
They
that is
checked
true.
in everything, and they said, well, they thought it was funny that nothing had been changed in their system.
Yeah,
So I thought
first of all,
that
I don't even know how you got it, but but saying that what Alexander is saying is that sometimes they do make mistakes too. Um, but again, so long as people aren't ordering things in your name, and then that's the bigger issue.
A
okay.
spam email, I would say like ignore it. I mean, if
Yeah.
they're not like stealing money from your bank account or things of that nature, like I get letters, or I know, we've all gotten letters where like, why are we receiving this? We're not subscribed to it or whatever. But as Derek shared, sometimes, so if a certain like marketing company, whatever, gets the information, they're able to send certain things. So I would say, don't panic when you like maybe receive those kind of things, and just know like, or the things that we talked about today, and to know what's real and what's not.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep. There you go.
Thank you so much.
No, no
Oh
problem.
yeah, you're doing the right thing, Ms. Dean. So we appreciate your question. Um, and okay, at this point, any other questions for Mr. Derek? Anything about all of these different consumer practices? Anything about any questions? You can unmute, but I do see here, once you apply for the Schedule H, do you have to apply every year?
Yes, you do. That's something you have to apply every year for Schedule H.
Thank you for answering that. Again, you can unmute. You can unmute yourself. Any last questions? I do see
Miss
Greer, you have
Macy.
your hand up, so we'll take you. Any other questions, comments? Last ones for Derek today.
Yes. Where do I start? What direction do I go in to apply for Schedule 8?
So the first thing is I would say give us a call. The 202-434-2120 number.
Yes.
Give us a call. And then they'll do is refer you over to Willow, and then she'll give you some preliminary questions. The first question, I mean, this we can do Schedule H in-house, meaning that Willow could do it for you if you don't use a tax preparer. So if you use H&R Block or you go to AARP to do your taxes, um, you'd have to go to them to get it done, but Willow will be able to direct you and tell you what to ask. So that's why I'm saying still call. Make sure you call us. Um, Willow will tell you, get in touch with this person, and this is the information that you need to provide to that person.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, that's no problem.
And your presentation has been excellent and most informative. Thank you so much.
I think it's the money piece. That's what it is.
Oh, no, thank you for asking that, Greer, and thank you for participating today. Thank you so much.
So you're saying you apply for this H only when you're doing your taxes? That's when you apply for this?
Well, the if you've never received Schedule H before, that's the time that where you can maximize it at that time. You can apply for Schedule H any time of the year, but you can get the most money in April or during this tax period because you can get this year and you can get all those prior years, those other 3 years. So let's say you missed, if you don't do it by April, um, you still could get April, but you basically lose one tax year. So that's why if you do it by April, you get the bigger bang for your buck.
So this is something that's on your tax form that mentioned about the H. That's how it's processed?
So when they say Schedule H, what it is, it's a separate tax schedule, and the tax schedule is called H. And it's on your DC tax forms.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Okay, it's on your DC tax form. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Always just, if you have any questions after today, repeat this video or just give the hotline a call.
Yep. Make sure you give Willow give the hotline a call and say you have a Schedule H question, and they'll get you over to Willow.
Okay, thank you. But that's why I'm glad it's recording for when I look back on it, I can see my question and get the answer.
I love it. That's why we do this for Miss Hale.
Okay.
So we appreciate you asking that question.
Oh, and we have another one, I
Thank you,
see.
though. It's very, very informative. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Mr. Derek did great. We
Yeah.
have Mr. Adams next. Do you have a
Yep.
question or comment for Derek today?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, if I'm not mistaken, the Schedule H started back when Marion Barry became mayor of
Oh,
DC.
it could be. I think
And number two,
yeah.
you can go to Martin Luther King Library. They have people down there who
They
also
do.
does.
Most
All
does
DC
certainly.
public libraries. I think they've been doing that for a couple of years too. I think it's through AARP that they do the DC public libraries and then them being able to fill out the tax forms. So yes,
Yep.
you are
Yep.
so right
Yep.
with that, Mr.
That
Adams.
is right.
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
And thank you.
Oh,
Actually, I'm hearing stuff that I haven't even really heard, but thank you. I don't own a home, but nevertheless, who knows?
Well, but even if you are renting in DC, odds are you can still
Mhm.
qualify for it. So you don't have to own a home. You just have to be in a property that pays property tax. So if that
Right.
house pays or the apartment building pays property tax, you can qualify.
Okay.
yeah, Mr. Adams, you have legal counsel's hotline number, the 202-434-2120.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, make
That's
sure
it.
you give him a call so you could get the most amount that you can.
Yep. Yep. That's
Oh,
it.
yeah. All right. Thank you, both of y'all.
Oh, no,
Okay.
thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Derek came on, and giving us all this wonderful knowledge. So, any other questions? You can unmute yourself. We have time for one more question. Any other questions for today?
Oh, there's Doris.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself and share.
Okay, I don't have a question. I have a statement. If they live in subsidized housing, they not qualify for the Schedule H.
Because because again, you're not paying the property is not paying property tax.
Yeah, so that's why I want to make sure that if they doing that, they don't think they can get it.
That's a good question. Thank you for bringing that up. Anyone else? Miss Sylvia, I see you unmuted. Do you have a question or comment for Derek?
No, just a great session. I learned a lot of information from this session. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Miss Sylvia. Make sure you give him a call, okay?
Thank you. I will.
Yeah, again, that session Robin did, again, just using all the calculators online to see that you're getting the most, again, SNAP benefits, other benefits, talking about the utility programs and all these other things. So you can use those savings to help, pay for maybe a delinquency if you have one of those or other things in your life. So I love that legal counsel shows you how to, what you have access to and, what you could do with it.
Yep, most definitely. And again, and I'll say, especially for Schedule H, if you have any questions, I would say don't assume that you don't qualify. Just call that number and Willow can help you out.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Derek.
Okay.
What did you think of the questions today? Were you surprised?
Oh, no, they were great. They're great questions. And I'll say, every time we do one of these, we always end up with a big chunk on Schedule H. That's the one.
Now that I see the presentation, I can see why. So
yeah,
we'd love to have you back on.
We need to have a special presentation just for Schedule H, I do believe.
But I really appreciate your kind words and how knowledgeable you were. And I want everyone to please take advantage of Legal Counsel for the Elderly, watch this video. And once again, Derek, we hope to have you on once again.
I'm always here.
As Lisa, Robin, and Miss Emily have done an amazing job. So
thank you.
Yeah, let's thank Mr. Derek for a wonderful job today and wish him a wonderful rest of his day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much.
Counsel, next
Thank
month.
you
very much.
Very
Thank you. It was a great session.
Thank you.
Derek.
Very nice.
All right, thank you guys. We'll see you.
Yeah, I'm going to benefit
Thank you so
from the
much.
information.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, we'll see you. All right, bye.
Bye.